The school board's daughter and the campus beauty made a bet. Who could win over me, the poor student, first? They feigned deep affection and launched a grand pursuit campaign against me. Once I was completely captivated, offering my first kiss and my true heart, they cruelly revealed the truth. Everyone in the school except you knows this is a live-streamed conquest. A country bumpkin. Do you really think a rich heiress would fall for you? I was treated like a drowning dog, mocked and ostracized by the entire school. In a state of mental confusion, I accidentally fell into the water and died tragically. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day the conquest live stream began. 1. After school, I was cornered at the stairwell. Anya, the school board's daughter, tilted her chin up to size me up, her eyes playful. Distinguished student. I heard you ranked first in the monthly exams again. Anya is the only daughter of the prestigious Een family in the capital, raised with a golden spoon in her mouth. As the largest sponsor of Enu's Academy, the Een family thrives in the business world, and 2 generations back, they even had some red background connections. In my previous life, Anya asked me to help her cheat on the monthly exams, but I refused. Later, she scored a 2-digit total and was scolded by her mother. Anya blamed me for everything. Thus, Anya came up with a prank. She made a bet with her best friend, the campus beauty by Meow, to see who could win over me, the poor student, first. By Meow obtained the school's surveillance permissions and live-streamed the entire conquest on the campus forum. To add more fun, Anya even initiated a school-wide betting pool, betting on when I would give my first kiss to one of them. Ultimately, all the tips from this live stream would go to whoever guessed the outcome most accurately. The daughter of the school board, the proud heiress Anya, the aloof and breathtakingly beautiful school beauty by Meow, and a massive tip pool. This live stream ignited the entire Enu's Academy. After all, I was just a high school boy with little worldly experience. How could I withstand the grand romantic pursuits of 2 young heiresses? After I accepted by Meow's confession, Anya, who had lost the bet, flew into a rage. She cruelly revealed the truth to me. You didn't expect this, did you? This was a love strategy guide, and it was broadcast live the whole time. Top student, more like a narcissist. Did you really think we'd like a country bumpkin like you, who came from a rural area? From that moment on, I became the biggest joke at the entire school. In their eyes, my initial coldness was being unromantic, my later softening of attitude was putting on airs, and my eventual romantic feelings were nothing but self-degradation and delusion. Everyone was laughing at my foolish, ugly display. My grades plummeted, and I fell out of the top 50 in the final exams. My scholarship was revoked, and my family was plunged into debt as a result. Under multiple blows, I, in a daze, stumbled and fell into the swimming pool, silently drowning in the winter of my 2nd year of high school. Under multiple blows, my spirit became hazy, and I stumbled into the pool, silently drowning in the winter of my 2nd year of high school. Afterwards, the school attributed my death to academic pressure, took a symbolic penalty, and brushed the matter aside lightly. Anya, deeply shaken by the incident, was sent abroad. Later, she lived a life of drunken oblivion, surrounded by a succession of boyfriends. Rumor has it that every one of her boyfriends bore a striking resemblance to me in their features. Meanwhile, after coming of age, Bai Miao inherited the company and became a renowned female philanthropist due to her repeated donations to impoverished mountainous regions. She eventually married a self-made millionaire from a rural background. At the wedding, she gazed tenderly at the groom, saying he had helped her rediscover the feeling of first love she once shared with her childhood sweetheart. 2. Hey, Jiang Sui, aren't you listening to me? Yin waved her hand in front of my eyes. Her bright, almond-shaped eyes seemed to see right through people. When she stared at someone, it was easy to think of a female leopard. I knew the strategy livestream had begun. The live chat on the campus forum was scrolling by at lightning speed. I'll bet a week's allowance that this hunt ends with the school beauty winning handily. Who can resist a cool, aloof goddess? I bet a week's allowance that this hunt for the school beauty will be a complete victory. Who can resist a cold goddess? Then I'll bet on the Een family's spoiled little princess. Guys just loved Sundaris. Hee. Een Yin took a deep breath and, with patience, repeated, I'm saying, I'm here to give you a chance to make money. I heard your family is from the countryside, so you must be short on cash, right? Come to my place to tutor me. 1,000 per lesson. How about it? I glanced subtly at the camera in the stairwell corner, then lowered my head and said, Classmate Een Yin, thank you for your kindness, but I already have plans for the weekend. I walked out of the school gate. Passing the vanity mirror, I paused and glanced up at my reflection. I was slender and reserved, my skin pale, my face, devoid of expression, appeared somewhat bland. My greatest asset was my eyes, visible behind my black-rimmed glasses. I could certainly take off the glasses right now to shift a portion of the public opinion. But proactively changing myself is far less memorable than letting them discover it on their own. I knew that even if I didn't fall for this trap, Yin and the others would devise new pranks to mock me. With my current abilities, I could not possibly stand against two all-powerful dragon people. But at least in this life, I have already figured out their tactics. Isn't it just acting? Let them act. Who can't act? I lowered my eyes and headed toward the flower shop where I usually worked. Most students at Enu's Academy came from wealthy or noble families. For the sake of their reputation, the school admitted a few top-performing special students each year. Besides having excellent grades, the special students shared another trait: poverty. They wouldn't enroll in an out-of-place noble school for a scholarship if they weren't poor. As long as I maintained a top 10 ranking, my tuition would be fully waived, and I would receive a monthly scholarship of 5,000 yuan. Since enrolling, I have never ranked lower than first. Thus, I was accustomed to sending my scholarship home and working part-time to earn my living expenses. The flower shop. Before I even entered the door, I heard Aunt Chen's excited voice. "Jiang Sui, a big order arrived today." On her phone screen, a delivery order appeared: 9,999 Floyd roses. The client had specifically noted that the flowers must be premium-grade materials sourced from Ecuador. Aunt Chen's face glowed with excitement. "This order alone will earn us 5 figures. In my previous life, Enian ruined my part-time job at the flower shop just to force me to agree to her tutoring sessions. She spent a fortune to reserve a massive quantity of Floyd roses. After Aunt Chun and I spent the entire night scouring the city to gather enough flowers, all we received was Yan's dismissive remark: 'Boring. I don't want them anymore.' With the Yin family's overwhelming influence, Aunt Chun had nowhere to complain and was forced to bear the heavy loss of the final payment. She had originally opened this shop to escape her abusive husband. After this incident, she shut down the flower shop and, with no other choice, returned to her hometown with her husband. 3. Seeing my low spirits, Aunt Chen looked puzzled. "Jiang Sui, what's wrong?" I shook my head. "Aunt Chen, this order is suspicious. Please don't prepare the flower materials yet." Although hesitant, Aunt Chen eventually gave in to my insistence, temporarily abandoning her plan to stock up in bulk and agreeing to stall for a while to see what happens. For the following week, I stopped going to the library to study and instead hid in my dorm immediately after class, making it impossible for Yin to find an opportunity to see me. The strategy had barely begun, and the progress was already worrying. Miss Yin of the wealthy family was visibly growing impatient. As I had predicted, within a week, she could no longer contain herself. On Saturday, Aunt Chun was napping in the storage room, leaving me alone to watch the shop. I had just finished writing a test paper when I looked up and spotted a familiar, petite figure flashing past the entrance of the flower shop. I immediately realized this was the moment. At the same time, the phone on the cashier's counter began to vibrate. I answered the call without hesitation. Less than 10 minutes later, a bald man with a beer belly stormed into the flower shop aggressively. Bang! He kicked the door open and barked, "Where's that bitch Chunyan?" Aunt Chun was woken by the commotion and shuffled out of the storage room, eyes still heavy with sleep. Upon seeing the man, her face immediately filled with terror. "You? Why are you here?" The bald man snorted, stepped forward, and reached out to grab Aunt Chen's hair. I hurriedly stepped in front of Aunt Chun and shouted, "Who are you? What do you want?" The bald man sneered. "Who am I? I'm her husband. I can do whatever I want to my own woman. It's only natural. If you don't move, I'll beat you up too. If you don't leave now, I'm calling the police. If you don't leave now, I'll call the police." The bald man grinned wickedly, waved his hand, and shoved me to the ground. I landed clumsily at the flower shop in trance, my glasses knocked flying. My knees hit the threshold, and the pain made me curl up into a ball. I knew it wasn't a mistake. The figure outside the flower shop was none other than Yan. I knew. Yan's live-streaming camera was clipped to her collar. That device was high-end. Both its image and audio quality were top-tier in the industry. That device is high-end. Both its image and sound quality are top-tier in the industry. The commotion just now was so loud that both Yin and the viewers in the live stream must have witnessed the scene of Chun Shun and me being bullied. I know Yin all too well. As the beloved princess of the Yin family, she has always been reckless and lawless. Since childhood, she was lively and active, with strength greater than that of ordinary girls. Under the Een family's bottomless spoiling, she even became the female school bully of Ineos Academy. Whether for the sake of the quest or driven by her impulsive and irritable nature, she would definitely step forward. This cliched act of heroism has reached this point. Next, it's time for the female lead to make her entrance. 4. Enough. The very next second, I saw someone step over the threshold and enter the flower shop. Before anyone could react, Een Yin was already grappling with the bald man. The comments on the forum were flooding in. She just charged right in like that. Who doesn't know the Een family's little princess holds a 9th degree black belt? She's absolutely amazing. I'm crying. Wow. The prize pool for real-time livestream tipping has already skyrocketed to 1.74 million and is still rising. The eventual winner is in for a treat. Although Een Yin had studied karate, the bald man was tall, fat, and bulky, his body nearly twice her size. At first, Een Yin gained the upper hand temporarily using her combat skills. But later, the bald man leveraged his absolute advantage in weight, spotted a loophole, and pinned Een Yin beneath him. Amidst the wreckage of the flower shop, the bald man, his eyes bloodshot, pressed down on Een Yin, choking her neck with a death grip. He spat at Een Yin, cursing viciously. "You damn woman, I told you not to pick a fight." Een Yin's small face turned crimson from the choking, yet she continued to struggle desperately. Just as she was about to suffocate completely, I grabbed a glass vase and smashed it hard against the bald man's occiput. Bang! The bald man staggered and then crashed to the ground. Een Yin gasped for air, then gathered her strength to kick the massive, fat body aside. She sat up with an angry expression, but the moment she saw the scene before her, her eyes widened in shock. In Een Yin's amber eyes, my backlit silhouette was reflected, a handsome boy, panting, holding a vase, covered in wounds yet still standing firm. "You." The moment she opened her mouth, the vase slipped from my hand, rolling onto the floor with a crisp clatter. Unable to support my injured legs any longer, I collapsed, drained of strength. Een Yin instinctively leaned forward and embraced me. As we held each other, I heard her heart pounding like a drum against her chest. The bridge effect refers to the phenomenon where people, experiencing heightened heart rates due to a stimulating situation, may mistakenly attribute this physiological response to love. The scene just now was a segment I had meticulously designed for Een Yin. An impulsive and proud young girl, eager to save someone from danger, only to be saved by another at the last moment by sheer chance. Every expression, every movement, I had rehearsed in my mind 10,000 times. Listening to her rapid heartbeat, I trembled with excitement all over. Meanwhile, Een Yin, flustered, held my shoulder, speaking softly with rare clumsiness. "Just now. Thank you." 5. The bald man, Chun Shin's husband, was arrested by the police for intentional injury. Although sentencing for domestic violence has always been lenient, this time the victim was Een Yin. Given Een Yin's nature as the Een family's little princess, who never forgives a slight, the bald man probably won't be out anytime soon. Aunt Chen thanked Een Yin profusely, repeatedly praising her as a model youth of the new era. As the daughter of a school board member, Een Yin had always been known for causing trouble since childhood. How often had she been praised for doing the right thing? She rubbed the scrape on the bridge of her nose, yet a pair of suspicious blushes bloomed on her cheeks. "It's nothing. I was just coming to see Jiang Sui, and I didn't expect to stumble upon something like this. No need to thank this young lady. It was just a casual act anyway." To thank Een Yin, I volunteered to give her tutoring lessons on weekends. Though she was clearly overjoyed, she still tilted her chin up, feigning arrogance. "Next Saturday at 3 p.m., come to my private villa. Also, since your broken glasses are so ugly, just stop wearing them." On the weekend, inside the study of Een Yin's private villa, I was tutoring her in mathematics. In my previous life, the moment I agreed to tutor Een Yin, I discovered the truth behind the flower shop's closure. We had a huge argument, and the tutoring session ended on a sour note. But in this life, I am determined to take the tutoring seriously. After solving a few math problems, the eyes of the Een family's eldest daughter became clear and focused. Seeing her biting her pen and staring blankly at the first fill-in-the-blank question, I sighed silently. The bullet comments immediately began to gloat. The school board's daughter must be regretting this tutoring session now. She brought this upon herself. I can't bear to watch. She tried to flirt with the top student several times just now, but he remained completely unmoved, focused entirely on explaining the problems. Is it just me, or did Jiang Sui explain it really well? He made complex concepts accessible. Even a math dunce like me understood. At the same time, I noticed the old butler through the door crack, holding up his phone to record. Although the old butler tried his best to lower his voice, he could hardly contain his excitement. Sir, madam, heaven has finally opened its eyes. The young lady is actually starting to study mathematics. Seeing that Yin had already drifted off, about to fall into a third baby-like sweet sleep, I helplessly said, let's call it a day for now. Yin instinctively agreed in a triple nod. Oh, so that's how it is. I understand. Wait, is class over already? I nodded. Your foundation is too weak. It's better to proceed step by step. Yin nodded with a look of relief, her face filled with the ing-shing of having survived a disaster. Before leaving, I took out a Freud rose from my school bag. I used the bonus Annie-chun gave me to buy you a flower. I nodded without any hesitation. Yes. A customer canceled an order at the flower shop and had to pay a huge penalty fee. I used the bonus Annie-chun gave me to buy you a flower. Thank you for helping us last time. Seeing Yin-yan's complicated expression, I raised an eyebrow. If you don't want it, just say so. Yin-yan immediately snatched the flower from my hand. Her face flushed red. Who said I don't want it? 6. As I stepped out of the villa, the sun was already setting. In the glow of the sunset, a figure was galloping on horseback across the riding arena outside the villa. Spotting me, Bai Miao pulled on the reins and rode over to stand before me. She was strikingly beautiful, and her crisp white riding attire only enhanced her ethereal elegance. The Bai family was not as illustrious as the Yin family. They were merely new money tech elites. Yet, Bai Miao was gentle, polite, and always knew exactly how to conduct herself, earning high praise from the entire school. In my previous life, I was deceived by her disguise and agreed to her confession. When Yin told me this was merely a mission to conquer me, I refused to believe it, until Bai Miao admitted it herself. Facing my accusations, Bai Miao still wore her gentle smile, but her words were cruel. Jiang Sui, I've just realized that you actually look a lot like my childhood friend. But he is pure and obedient, unlike you, who is so cheap. So what if you rank first in the grade every time? You're just an easy-to-handle inferior. If Yin-yan's cruelty was innocent, then Bai Miao's was pure malice. Now, beneath the setting sun, Bai Miao, still on her horse, looked down at me with lowered eyes. Thank you for coming to tutor Yin. In the future, I'll have to trouble you to look after her. I tilted my head up, meeting her beautiful phoenix eyes without hesitation. Are you implying that Yin has a bad temper and is difficult to get along with, which is why I need to be more accommodating? Bai Miao paused, then quickly laughed it off. That's not what I meant. At that very moment, the chestnut horse suddenly snorted and lowered its head to affectionately nuzzle the palm of my hand. Bai Miao looked surprised. Andrew is a Hanoverian warmblood with a bad temper. I've never seen it get so close to a stranger before. It really likes you. I scoffed inwardly. Hanoverians are known for being calm and gentle. How could they have a bad temper? I understood the meaning of this lie perfectly. A direct approach like Yin's, charging ahead without caution, only makes people wary. But Bai Miao is a clever hunter. In my past life, she first used seemingly accidental coincidences to lower my guard, then gradually deepened my affection for her through repeated exposure and contact, until I willingly gave her my first kiss. Seeing my lack of reaction, Bai Miao leaned forward slightly and extended her hand, wrapped in a white leather glove. Student Jiang Sui, would you like to go horseback riding together? The picturesque sunset, the beautiful girl, the perfectly set atmosphere. Bai Miao was certain I wouldn't refuse. But she had miscalculated. In my past life, Bai Miao used the bridge effect of horseback riding to make my heart race for her, thus beginning her conquest. Now, I glanced indifferently at her hand extended toward me and suddenly asked, "What is that?" She withdrew her hand, followed my gaze, and unclasped a black iris-decorated brooch, holding it out before me. She withdrew her hand, followed my gaze, and unfastened a black iris-decorated brooch, holding it out before me. I stared at that black brooch. I knew Bai Miao's live-streaming camera was hidden inside it. She not only had many tricks and a high level of skill, but her mindset was also unshakable. She actually dared to hand it directly to me. The bullet comments trembled in unison. I can't help but feel like he's watching me through the camera. Scared.jpg. No way, Bai's surveillance equipment is state-of-the-art, and the livestream forum has already blocked him. So thrilling. Sending a carnival gift. Seeing me staring at the iris brooch, Bai Miao said casually, "Do you like it? If you do, I can give it to you." I shifted my gaze and laughed abruptly. No need. The language of the black iris is one I don't like. 7. Bai Miao insisted on driving me back to school. In fact, the villa wasn't far from the school, just a 10-minute drive. The trouble was that there was no direct bus route from here to the school. Watching the girl sitting in the Lamborghini Revuelto, I said with some hesitation, "You're not of legal age yet." Bai Miao smiled and pulled out a driver's license, waving it slightly. "Don't worry, I passed my test abroad." Then, "Mr. Jiang Sui, the #1 student in our grade, may I have the honor of giving you a ride?" On the way back, I silently recited vocabulary words. At that moment, the livestream comments were also buzzing with excitement. The aloof school beauty is simply too beautiful. The scholarship student really lacks manners. Maybe she's just pretending to be high and mighty, playing hard to get. That's how idol dramas always go. Wait, am I the only one who noticed the absolutely insane sound wave of this supercar? A top-tier sports car roared down the road at breakneck speed. Within moments, the car pulled up to the school gate. I tried to open the door to get out, only to find it locked. Frowning, I looked at Bai Miao in the driver's seat, and she asked in a joking tone, "Classmate Jiang Sui, how do you plan to pay the fare?" I pulled 2 crumpled 100 yuan bills from my bag and handed them to her with a pained expression. "No need for change." Bai Miao smiled, her eyes curving. "Very sincere, but unfortunately, I don't lack money." We stood in silent confrontation for a few seconds. Suddenly, I tilted my head slightly and asked, somewhat dazed, "Have we met somewhere before?" "Classmate Bai Miao, I just realized you actually look very much like my childhood sweetheart." The barrage of comments erupted in a wave of hisses. Such a cliché pickup line. Does he really think this will make the school beauty look at him differently? Diagnosed as having watched too many idol dramas. Doesn't anyone notice the school beauty hasn't spoken in a while? Bai Miao's gaze toward me was tinged with hesitation. I smiled and added, "But she was pure and well-behaved. She certainly wouldn't be so rude as to lock a classmate inside a car." 8. After getting out of the car, I stood beside the vehicle, smiling brightly as I slipped the 200 yuan into the lowered window. Watching that angry beast of steel roar away, the smile on my face gradually faded. In my previous life, Bai Miao said at the wedding that the groom, whose smile reminded her of her childhood friend, the first love of her youth, was someone she had known since childhood. My family background and Bai Miao's were worlds apart. It was impossible for us to have grown up together as childhood sweethearts. Therefore, there was only one possibility. Bai Miao had a childhood friend when she was young, and I happened to look remarkably like him. Since I knew this in advance, there was no reason not to take advantage of it. So, I claimed the title of her childhood friend. Bai Miao was delicate-minded, suspicious, and overthinking. For someone like her, you only need to pose an ambiguous question. She will inevitably spend time seeking the answer, and in the process, she will inevitably become familiar with and understand me. Repeated exposure increases people's liking for someone. In psychology, this is called the mere exposure effect. Speaking of which, I should thank Bai Miao from my previous life for teaching me so many techniques. Speaking of which, I should thank Bai Miao from my past life for teaching me so many techniques. The following months passed without a ripple. Every day, I moved in a straight line between the classroom, the library, and the cafeteria. On weekends, I first worked part-time at a flower shop, then went to tutor Yin Yan. Every time I went to see Yin Yan, I brought a Floyd rose. Yin Yan went from being awkward to gradually getting used to it. I did not perfunctorily teach her due to events from my previous life. Instead, I patiently and carefully helped her organize her knowledge. In my previous life, I was criticized for refusing to tutor Yin Yan, labeled as a rustic person who is awkward and not sincere at all. Even after I fell behind in my grades due to depression, some people slandered that my previous grades had been obtained through cheating. But this time, I would leave no handle for anyone to use against me. The weather gradually turned cool, and before long, the season of short days and long nights, winter, arrived. It was the weekend. A private villa. Yin Yan sat upright at her desk, her small face wearing an expression of rare apprehension. "How was it?" I put down the red pen I had been using to grade papers. "You scored 63 on this math test. That's an improvement." I passed. The old butler, who had been prepared for this moment, let out a cheer and pulled the trigger on a small firecracker he had somehow acquired. Bang! Amidst the shower of fireworks and confetti, Yin Yan pulled me up from my chair, grabbed my hand, and began spinning around in circles like a waltz. I was startled and immediately regretted not reminding her earlier that the full score was 150. Seeing this, the old butler quietly slipped out, thoughtfully closing the door behind him. Dizzy from the spinning, I lightly tapped Yin Yan's head. "Stop it. One more spin, and the flowers will be gone." "Where are my flowers? Reward me quickly." "Where's my flower? Reward me quickly." I raised an eyebrow at her and handed her the rose. Yin took the flower, grinning mischievously. Just kidding. I'll do it again next time. Me. 9. With finals approaching, I've become increasingly busy. The library. I was previewing next semester's coursework when someone tapped my shoulder. Looking up, I saw a round-faced boy with a buzz cut. Blushing, he handed me a pink envelope. He said, "Jiang Sui, could you please deliver this letter to student by Miao?" I frowned and didn't take it. This boy was Li Yuan, a top student like me who had gained admission based on his grades. In my previous life, he was one of the few classmates who never participated in the strategy live streams. After my death, he learned the truth and even wrote a complaint letter on my behalf. Unfortunately, the letter was intercepted by the Bai family as soon as it was mailed, causing not a ripple. Seeing my silence, Li Yuan quickly explained, "Every weekend when you go for tutoring, student Bai Miao is the one who brings you back. So I thought I'd trouble you with this." I flatly refused. "I'm sorry, I can't help you." Li Yuan paused, looking puzzled. "Why? Do you also like Goddess Bai Miao?" His words sent a hush over the area. Some daring students began stealing glances in my direction. I glanced at the several cameras on the ceiling not far away, then shook my head at Li Yuan. "Just no." Li Yuan was straightforward and kind. He certainly couldn't outmaneuver the scheming Bai Miao. I didn't want him to repeat the mistakes I made in my past life, but with livestream cameras everywhere, I couldn't reveal the truth. All I could do was hope he would give up when he realized the difficulty. Li Yuan stomped his foot and forcibly shoved a pink envelope into my hand. "If you don't like Bai Miao, please help me out. Jiang Sui, thank you so much." Watching him run off, I pinched the love letter in my hand tightly, my face expressionless. After the love letter incident, Yan's attitude toward me suddenly turned cold. Usually, she would send me hundreds of messages a day, math problems, memes, and even some meaningless ramblings. But now, Yan had been silent for a full week. With my academic workload so heavy, I was glad for the peace and quiet, and naturally, I didn't think to reach out to her first. If I could see the livestream comments, I would have noticed that the audience was already lighting candles for me. It feels like this CPE is heading for a breakup. It's such a pity. I just sent 9 rockets. The school board chairman's daughter really cares about that love letter. Stop making excuses. You're sending flowers to the chairman's daughter while jealously throwing away a love letter given to the school beauty. Isn't that playing both sides? What a shame. I was starting to ship them. Saturday afternoon, I arrived at Yan's villa just on time. After pressing the doorbell, no one came to open the door for a long time. I took out my phone to message Yan, only to see the red exclamation mark indicating I had been blocked. Frowning, I pressed the doorbell again. 10 minutes passed, and still, no one opened the door. Although I'm not particularly perceptive, I understood. This meant I was not welcome. I turned to leave, but suddenly heard a click from behind as the door opened. "Come in." A cold female voice. I walked into the villa. Yin was lounging lazily on the living room sofa, absently operating a game controller. I was left standing there. When the game ended, Yin finally deigned to look up at me. "So you actually came to find me? I thought you'd never bother to explain yourself." 10. I was utterly bewildered. "Explain what?" "I'm here to give you a tutoring session." "Tutoring?" Yin sneered. "We haven't spoken in so long. I thought the great scholar had forgotten about tutoring me." She casually tossed the controller aside, stood up, grabbed my wrist, and forcibly dragged me toward the study on the second floor. We stumbled into the study, and Yin slammed the door shut with a loud bang. I stumbled a few steps, barely having time to speak, before Yin shoved me hard against the desk. Amidst the chaos, I looked disheveled, my lower back pressed against the edge of the desk, and suddenly, anger flared up. Yet, Yin showed no sign of stopping. She braced her arms on the desk on either side of me and leaned in close. I was pushed back, my heart racing with irritation. "Yin, what are you?" But the next second, she raised her hand, gripped my chin, and kissed me with unreasonable determination. I was startled and instinctively slapped her. Slap. The crisp sound of a slap echoed, and the study fell silent. Yin slowly turned her face, her eyes shimmering with tears of disbelief. She questioned me, word by word. "Jiang Sui, tell me, why did you throw away that love letter meant for Miao Miao?" I took a deep breath. "Yin, we have a purely professional relationship. I provide tutoring, and you pay for my time and knowledge. Apart from math problems, I have no obligation to explain anything to you." Yin stared at me for a long time, then suddenly let out a scornful laugh. "A professional relationship? You bring me a Freud rose every time you come. Is that a professional relationship?" I looked straight into her eyes. "As you wished, I didn't bring you flowers this time." Yin narrowed her almond-shaped eyes. "What?" I offered no explanation, simply repeating. "This time, I didn't bring you flowers." Yin, the flowers were just a reward. Since you don't want them, there won't be any this time, and there won't be any in the future. The implication was clear. I didn't need to come for tutoring anymore. Yin refused to give up. She stared at me intently, trying to find even a hint of petulance on my face. Finding my expression utterly calm, she finally sneered. So, in the end, you've only ever cared about the money. So you can buy everything about you, Jiang Sui, with money, can't you? That's wonderful. I have plenty of money. You top students might not even be worth the carefully bred horses in my family's estate stables. Smack. I struck with all my might. She hung her head, her hair in disarray, her lower lip bitten white, clearly on the verge of a furious outburst. She hung her head, her hair disheveled, her lower lip bitten pale. Clearly, she was on the verge of a furious outburst. 11. Just as the atmosphere was about to explode, two sharp knocks echoed from the study door, which was then opened from the outside. The old butler, his face slick with cold sweat, carried a plate of sliced fruit and spoke tremulously. Miss, Student Jiang, how about some fruit? I shoved Yin aside, picked up my bag from the floor, and walked out. As I stepped out of the study, Yin's shrill threat rang out behind me. Jiang Sui, once you walk out that door today, don't come back to regret it. I paused for only an instant before striding away without looking back. As I descended the stairs, I heard the deafening crash of furniture being overturned from the second floor. At the same time, the live chat scrolled faster than diarrhea. That plot was so cliché, yet so addictive. Scary. Jiang Sui was so brave just now. Those two slaps sounded so crisp. I bet they'd kiss today. My $1 million prize. Damn it. Can I still crash the class today? I even set an alarm for this. At the villa entrance, Bai Miao leaned against the doorframe, looking at me with a smiling, crescent-shaped gaze. What's wrong? Did you have a fight with Yin? I told you long ago, you need to be more understanding of her. Her neckline was bare. She wasn't wearing the black iris lapel pin that concealed the camera. I had no intention of acknowledging her schadenfreude, but Bai Miao reached out to block my path. Suddenly, she asked, don't you have a pure and obedient childhood, sweetheart? Why go out of your way to provoke others? A fickle boy will surely face punishment. At that moment, I finally sensed the unusual tone in her voice, and a suspicion suddenly surged in my mind. I stared at her. Did you arrange Li Yuan's love letter? You guessed right. Bai Miao clapped her hands lightly, her eyes sparkling with delight. Her expression was excited, as if she were playing the most fascinating game in the world. I knew that boy liked me. I had someone hint to him that he could send me a love letter through you. It was easy. After all, you are the top student who gets along best with us, aren't you? I was almost laughing in anger. So what was your purpose? Just to make Yin hate me? At that moment, Bai Miao tilted her head, leisurely playing with the ruby ring on her finger. I want you to tell me every story about you and your childhood sweetheart. For example, did you come to Ineos Academy because of her? She was forcing me to prove my identity. My expression remained unchanged. I'm in a bad mood today and don't feel like answering. Please bear with me. Bai Miao smiled softly again. Very well, but I believe that one day, you will beg me on your knees to tell you the answer. 12. On the campus forum, Bai Miao's live stream remained a black screen, while everyone gathered around Yin's broadcast. Technology has come a long way. In my lifetime, I can actually watch a Tsundere little princess go on a rampage live. Speak your mind. I truly don't understand why so many people fawn over Princess Yin. Even my Samoyed is more sensible than she is. It's better if it ends in B. Jiang Sui, a poor student, probably can't expect to rise to the top overnight by marrying into the Yin family. Don't spread rumors, folks. The head of the family and his wife really like young Mr. Jiang. Everyone was shocked by Yin's fury, sighing and mocking me in equal measure. They guessed this hunting live stream would end completely soon due to Yin's disdain for me. At that moment, I had just returned to my dormitory. I calmed my emotions, spread out my preview notes again, and forced myself to continue studying. A new week began. Yin and I continued our Cold War. I am the Duty Discipline Committee member for this week, responsible for organizing this semester's swimming test. After the test ended, I was about to close the swimming pool's main gate when I suddenly heard a burst of laughter from inside. I hesitated for a moment, then reopened the gate. Inside the swimming pool, a group of students was gathered by the poolside. They were a mix of boys and girls, all dressed exquisitely, clearly from wealthy or noble families. In the pool, a round-faced boy was shivering as he repeatedly dived underwater, as if searching for something. On the shore, the leader sneered, "Li Yuan, hurry up and retrieve it. This watch is worth millions on the market. If you can't retrieve it, you'll have to pay for it." Since the swimming test had concluded, the heating system for the indoor heated pool had already stopped. In the icy water, Li Yuan hugged his arms, his face pale. Classmate Hanzaheo, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Hanzaheo interrupted her with a cold laugh. Just do as I say and retrieve it. Didn't you try every possible way to get close to Goddess Meow Meow? If you love being a simp so much, then this young master will give you a chance. Hanzaheo's love for Bai Miao was almost an open secret. Thus, his targeting of Li Yuan was hardly surprising. With no other choice, Li Yuan had to dive back into the bone-chilling water, hoping that retrieving the watch would make this group let him go. Watching this scene, I clenched my fists tightly. This academy is filled with untouchable young masters and young mistresses. They can casually decide the futures of other students, and even their teachers. Perhaps I should turn and leave right now. After all, Li Yuan has nothing to do with me. I am barely able to save myself. Shielding him from that love letter was already doing my utmost. Yet, seeing Li Yuan's face turn blue and purple from the cold, I am reminded of the moment before I died in my previous life. Back then, my scholarship was revoked, and my school card had accumulated unpaid fees. A single coin can humble even a hero. No one was willing to lend me money, so I often worked off campus, surviving on 2 steamed buns a day. That day, after barely completing the swimming test, I received a call informing me of my parents' death. I hid in the locker room and cried until I lost my voice for the first time. While sobbing, I told myself to keep going. Even if fate was cruel, even if the rain of arrows from suffering was enough to block out the sun, I would continue to fight in the shadows. I would not surrender. I had to survive. As I left the swimming pool, I suddenly noticed a glinting coin by the poolside. Although I am an excellent swimmer, at that moment I was starving, freezing, and utterly exhausted. Although I am an excellent swimmer, I was now starving, freezing, and utterly exhausted. In the final moments before drowning, I still struggled desperately, reaching out toward the surface, begging for a sliver of life. At this moment, Li Yuan was still diving down repeatedly to retrieve his watch. I, however, took out my phone with a blank expression and sent a location pin to Bai Miao. She replied almost immediately, "Oh, are you coming to kneel and beg me now?" I ignored her, placed my phone on a chair nearby, and then raised my voice to address the group by the poolside. If you want to retrieve something, you can ask the pool attendant to drain the water. There's no need to go through all this trouble. 13. To drain the pool, the people in the water must get out first. As Li Yuan climbed out of the pool, Han Ziheo suddenly pointed at me and said, "Hold him down." Several henchmen immediately rushed over, twisting my arms behind my back and shoving me in front of Han Ziheo. I knew I couldn't resist. All I could do was stall for time, so I made no unnecessary struggles. Han Ziheo grabbed a handful of hair at the back of my head, forcing me to lift my chin. He studied me for a moment, then sneered, "You're not even that handsome. A poor student who managed to anger someone you can't afford to offend. Where did you get the guts to play the hero for someone else?" Someone stepped in to smooth things over. There's no need. Beating him with just dirty Brother Hao's hands. Han Ziheo agreed wholeheartedly. So he turned to Li Yuan. "Li Yuan, come over here and slap him twice. Then we'll call the matter of that watch even." Li Yuan stared at him in shock, his mouth agape, unable to process. What? Hearing such a disgusting scheme, I squinted my eyes in disbelief. But Han Ziheo only grew more excited. He upped the ante. "If you can make him cry, if you can beat him until he's wailing for his mother and father, then, from now on at school, we'll never bother you again." Li Yuan was pushed in front of me. He was trembling like a sieve, even more violently than when he was soaking in the icy water. Our eyes met. Then, I heard his voice, thick with tears, "Jiang Sui, I'm sorry." Slap. Immediately, a slap landed on my face. Han Zihao burst into laughter. "There's another one coming. Don't try to be clever. Hit him hard." Slap. Another slap followed. The force knocked my head to the side, and my newly fitted glasses shattered on the ground. Han Ziheo turned my face back, speaking with feigned regret. "What a pity he isn't crying." He then tilted his head and smiled at Li Yuan. "I'll give you one more chance. Push him into the pool. The reward remains the same." Li Yuan looked at me, his gaze shrinking with fear. Han Ziheo barked a command. "Why aren't you moving? Do you still want to go down and retrieve the watch?" So, I watched Li Yuan, his face streaked with tears, take a step forward, raise his hand, and then shove me into the pool. 14. Satisfied, Han Ziheo let Li Yuan leave the swimming pool. The depth of the swimming pool is 2 meters. I had to keep treading water just to keep my mouth and nose above the surface. In the bone-chilling water, I heard Han Ziheo give the order. Since Li Yuan is gone, you take his place and retrieve that watch. I did not obey. I simply stared at him with a blank expression. Oh, someone sneered, quite the attitude. They dragged over chairs and sat comfortably by the poolside. If you don't retrieve the watch, you're not getting out of the water. They chatted and laughed on the shore, while my body gradually lost heat. If this dragged on, I would be the first to collapse. I could not simply sit and wait for death. So, under everyone's gaze, I closed my eyes and slowly sank beneath the water. This move was extremely abrupt. Because it was past closing time, only a single lamp was lit by the poolside. I knew that in such dim light, those on the shore could not accurately determine the exact position of objects underwater. In the freezing water, I heard the laughter and noise on the shore cut off abruptly, followed by Han Ziheo's cold sneer. I'll see how long he can hold his breath. 30 seconds. Han Ziheo dismissed it. What could possibly go wrong? He got an A in his swimming test. Can he really drown? 1 minute. Han Ziheo stood up and shouted from the poolside, his voice trembling with false bravado. Jiang Sui, I order you to come out. Did you hear me? 1.5 minutes. The people on the shore finally lost their composure. Amidst the commotion, I heard someone whisper, setting that aside, that the live stream hasn't stopped, has it? If those two young ladies aren't done playing yet, doesn't that mean we're... Han Ziheo screamed in despair. This isn't my fault. I just wanted to teach him a lesson. Meanwhile, I lurked beneath the water, slowly moving toward the shore under the cover of the dim lights in the swimming pool. Through the distorted ripples, I identified the people on the bank, ready to strike at the right moment and drag anyone down to soak in the cold water with me. Before I could make a selection, a loud splash suddenly rang in my ears. A figure plunged violently into the water, sending countless tiny bubbles surging through the churning waves. Before I could react, that figure swam swiftly toward me, grabbed my hand, and pulled me toward the surface. Splash! The sound of breaking water echoed. Yin and I emerged from the water one after another. As soon as we surfaced, Yin immediately rushed to my side. She pressed her entire body against mine, leaning in to check my breathing. I pushed her hand away and coughed a few times. I'm fine. Water droplets rolled down my hair and cheeks, like cold tears. You scare me to death. Yin held my hand, which I had tried to push away, her fingers trembling slightly. Your hands are freezing. A chill ran down my spine, and I tried to pull my hand back with all my might. Before I could free my hand, I heard footsteps approaching from a distance. I looked up and saw that the newcomer was Bai Miao. She had arrived too late. At the same time, Yin raised her eyes and scanned Han Ziheo and the others. Although drenched, Yin still exuded a sharp, domineering aura. Under her gaze, Han Ziheo and the others shrank back and lowered their heads. Yin's gaze finally settled on Bai Miao. She spoke coldly. Bai Miao, keep your dog under control. 15. After Bai Miao led the others away from the swimming pool, Yin turned her attention back to me. She pressed my palm against her cheek, her voice tinged with grievance. If I don't reach out to you first, will you never reach out to me? I pushed at Yin. Let go. I need to change clothes. The winter uniform was thick, and once soaked, it felt both freezing and stifling. Yet she refused to let go. Yin's voice, thick with a nasal quality, sounded almost like she was coquettishly pleading. I had a history lesson today. I silently cursed her as insane, but I had no choice but to listen to her rambling. She said, the teacher talked about the Eastern European upheaval and the dissolution of the Soviet Union. So what? She said, the Cold War is over. She quietly tightened her grip on my arm. Jiang Sui, the Cold War is over. Let's make up. After changing into dry clothes, I focused on the time, then stepped out of the swimming pool. Yin and Bai Miao were both waiting for me at the main gate. To be honest, I never expected Yin to show up. I had just learned that Li Yuan was the first to find Yin and beg her to come save me. Thinking of Li Yuan's drenched, disheveled back as he ran out of the swimming pool, I lowered my eyelids, lost in thought. Li Yuan could be manipulated into pushing me into the pool, yet once freed, he would do everything in his power to seek help for me. So, I do not blame him. But if I can forgive Li Yuan, shouldn't I also forgive Yin and Bai Miao? At that moment, Yin saw me. She walked over, stood on her tiptoes, and wrapped a scarf around my neck. Bai Miao, standing nearby, asked gently, would you like to go to the school clinic for a checkup? Looking at them, I suddenly felt my eyes sting with tears. Yin was momentarily at a loss. What is this about now? I looked at them earnestly and whispered softly, thank you. I never thought you would actually come to save me. I know I am a student from a rural area, dull, old-fashioned, and out of place among you. Actually, I have always been afraid that you would mock me, despise me, or look down on me. But why do you have to be so kind to me? Hearing this, Yin froze in place, her expression blank for a moment. I then lowered my head and placed a shy, gentle kiss on her cheek. After a brief moment of silence, the bullet comments exploded. They kissed. I've noted the date and time, 19 hours 23 minutes and 3 seconds. After following the live stream for most of the semester, I actually don't hate the top student that much anymore. He isn't cheating on two people. He was just afraid that round-faced boy would get bullied because of the love letter. Jiang Sui is actually a good person. When he first entered high school, he brought local specialties for his classmates, but everyone rejected them, so he stopped bringing them afterwards. I wonder what the school board's daughter and the school beauty are feeling right now. Do they regret betting on Jiang Sui in the first place? Honestly, doesn't anyone think this strategy live stream and that prize pool are truly excessive? At this moment, the scale of public opinion finally tipped completely in my favor. Yin stood frozen for a long while before blushing and throwing herself into my arms. She said awkwardly, "You are simply a good person. No one should treat you badly. And why are you being so cheesy? It's really annoying." I feigned embarrassment, burying my face in Yan's hair, yet my mouth couldn't help but curve upward into a wide smile. I finally waited for this scene. Forgiveness? Gratitude? It was all just a disguise. The only high ground a victim with unripe wings can occupy is the moral high ground. They approached me with malice, trying to tempt me into showing my ugly side, to break my pride and cover me in mud. So I would insist on letting them see my soul, clear and bottomless, laid bare for all to see. I want everyone to see that their belly full of malice has only earned me flawless sincerity. Then, when the truth is revealed, who will be the one exposed in all their ugliness? And who will become the biggest joke? I can hardly wait any longer. 16. The school infirmary. After finishing the ginger tea, I lay on the hospital bed, pretending to doze off. Just as I was about to drift into sleep, I heard the footsteps of two people outside the bed curtain. Someone carefully pulled back the curtain. I felt a bit awkward pretending to sleep and was about to pretend to wake up slowly, when suddenly I heard Yin whisper. Bai Miao replied softly. A hand covered my forehead. Finding that I didn't have a fever, the two of them stepped back outside the curtain. Pretending to be asleep had become awkward, and I was just about to feign waking up when I suddenly heard Yin whisper. Meow meow, I don't want to continue that bet. I've already terminated the live stream on the forum, and I've frozen the tipping pool for now. Here, take back this micro livestream camera. Bai Miao fell silent for a moment. Did you fall for him? Yin admitted plainly. Yes. After the final exams, there's the Inu's school anniversary ball. I plan to confess my feelings to Jiang Sui at the ball. Bai Miao's voice trembled imperceptibly. What if he doesn't agree? Yin dismissed the concern with a confident tone. Jiang Sui already kissed me. I'm this beautiful, my family background is top tier, and besides, I'll treat him very well from now on. Bai Miao interrupted her. But what if Jiang Sui already has someone in his heart? Hearing this, Yan's voice suddenly turned cold. Bai Miao, I know you've been investigating Jiang Sui's past. Whatever you dug up, this ends here. Keep what you shouldn't say buried in your stomach. In exchange, the West City project, the Bai family can begin preparations. After finishing the final exam of the semester, I walked out of the examination hall. In the corridor, Yin was waiting for me. Seeing me come out, she hurriedly stuffed her scribbled draft into her pocket, then smiled and stepped forward to meet me. Before I could speak, the girl blurted out, I did all the math problems I could. For the difficult ones I couldn't solve, I wrote solution and copied the questions over. I'm sure I'll pass. Yin said with sparkling eyes. You promised before that if I passed my final math exam, I could make one wish. Does that promise still stand? Seeing me nod, she giggled. Then I want you to go back to the villa with me. I finally managed to invite my dad's styling consultant today, and I'm letting you have the benefit of it. 17. In the afternoon, Yin handed me over to the styling consultant, then blushed and fled. She said she wanted to save some suspense for the evening's ball. Makeup, costume changes. I was kept busy all afternoon, and then the old butler drove me to the entrance of the ballroom where the event was being held. As I stepped out of the car in my bespoke suit, the clock tower of the ballroom began to chime. 7 p.m., the ball had begun. The moment I stepped out of the car in my bespoke suit, the bell on the cathedral tower rang. 7 p.m. The ball had begun. Everything fell into place perfectly, as if destined. I paid no mind to the amazed glances around me and simply ascended the steps toward the auditorium. At the solemn, classical entrance of the auditorium, I saw Bai Miao in a dark black evening gown. Holding a glass of champagne, she smiled at me and said, You look different tonight. I replied, Thank you. Bai Miao seemed to have had quite a bit to drink. Her breath was slightly ragged, and her cheeks were flushed. She gazed at me and suddenly said, "I'm sorry." I was taken aback, my expression filled with confusion. "Why are you apologizing?" Bai Miao whispered, "For everything." I stared at Bai Miao for a long time. Only when she awkwardly averted her gaze did I let out a soft laugh. I said, "Bai Miao, there's nothing you need to be sorry for. At the swimming pool that day, I sent you my location and you rushed over immediately, didn't you? As for those words you told me before, I know, you were just trying to scare me, to get an answer from me." Bai Miao shook her head sadly. "That answer no longer holds any meaning. Let's go inside. She has prepared a surprise for you." She stepped aside, allowing me to enter the auditorium. As I brushed past her, I secretly pinched myself twice, and my cheeks immediately flushed red. I smiled shyly and whispered to Bai Miao, "You once asked me if I came to Inu's academy because of that person. I want to tell you, at least, I used to." Truths are rare in this world, yet the boy's blush spoke louder than any lengthy confession. Without hesitation, I turned and walked away. Behind me, someone whispered in surprise, "Did Goddess Bai Miao drop her champagne?" 18. As I entered the auditorium, the lights slowly dimmed. Amidst everyone's gasps, the stage lights flickered on. Yin appeared on stage, wearing a pearl-white haute couture floor-length gown, adorned with a radiant rose brooch at her chest. Her bangs were swept back solemnly, giving her an air of dignity and nobility. Yin took the stand microphone and spoke softly. "Lately, I often dream of someone. The him who studies diligently, the him who saves a beauty in distress, even the him who frowns at me when explaining problems. Everything about him draws me in deeply, making my heart flutter involuntarily for him." Her words, filled with passionate love, stirred the audience. Some were so moved they covered their mouths. At that moment, several spotlights simultaneously turned toward me. Across the crowd, Yin gazed at me. "The language of the Freudian rose is, you casually wander through my dreams, turning my heart into a fragrant, blooming garden. You have lingered in my dreams for too long. Now, may I ask you to come to my side? Jiang Sui, I like you. Will you be my boyfriend?" At that very moment, rose petals rained down from the sky, intertwining into a dreamlike, ethereal vision. The envious and encouraging gazes of my classmates urged me to hurry and agree to her request. "Wait a moment," I blinked, speaking with some nervousness. Screech. Before I could finish my sentence, a piercing sound of static suddenly filled the entire auditorium. At the same time, the massive screens on all four walls of the ballroom began flashing and playing footage. Scene 1. At the corner of the staircase, Yin watched my retreating figure, frowned cutely, and let out an irritated snort. "If this country bumpkin doesn't agree to the tutoring, how am I supposed to conquer him? Just wait until I sabotage his part-time job. Let's see if he dares to refuse me again." The scene switched. Scene 2. Yin twirled a Freud rose, her tone excited and frivolous. "She sent me flowers. Just watch. I'll have him in 3 days." The scene switched again. Scene 3. Jiang Sui, if you walk out that door today, don't regret it later. The footage shook uncontrollably, as the person filming was furiously smashing things. What kind of person is he to dare show me attitude? A fickle, low-class trash. Once I get my hands on him and win the bet, I won't change my surname to Een unless I ruin him completely. Rapidly flashing images, malicious words, and unbearable comments. Under everyone's gaze, my face gradually turned pale. Meanwhile, Yin on stage, after a moment of stunned silence, began to shout angrily in a shrill voice, "Turn it off! Turn it off now!" But all her anger instantly dissipated the moment she saw the self-mocking smile on my face. 19. Yin's expression went blank for a moment, then she strode toward me. "Jiang Sui, it's not what you think. I can explain." I took a step back. "Don't come closer." That single action said it all. At the same time, Bai Miao stepped out from the crowd and blocked my path. Holding up her skirt, she looked elegant and poised. "Yin, he told you not to come closer." Yin looked at her, her expression slowly darkening. "Is it you? You're behind these live stream recordings, aren't you?" Bai Miao didn't answer. Instead, she emphasized again. "Yin, he rejected you." This time, her response was a slap from Yin. Amidst everyone's gasps, Yin shoved Bai Miao to the ground. "After all these years as friends, you know how much I love him." Bai Miao clutched her swollen cheek, lying awkwardly on the carpet, yet a smile played on her lips. "But you also know that if I reveal what happened." Yin yanked Bai Miao's hair fiercely. "Shut up." Her voice was icy, her expression ruthless. "Bai Miao, your family has so many illegitimate children. If I turn against the Bai family, you'll be immediately ousted from the position of Bai family heir. While they tore each other apart, the 4 large screens continued to play the video. The display shifted to a voting collection interface. Yan's excited voice from the past echoed through the speakers. Meow meow, let's create a live stream prize pool. All tips from strategy live streams will go into this prize pool. Everyone can place bets. Let's wager on when that country bumpkin will give up their first kiss. At the same time, a massive cumulative prize amount appeared on the screen. 5 million. The names of all participants in this live stream betting game flashed by like a grand public execution. The auditorium fell utterly silent, so quiet you could hear a pin drop. At this moment, Bai Miao's smile finally froze. She murmured to herself, "This segment wasn't made by me." The screen displayed the final winner's betting time, 19 hours 23 minutes and 3 seconds. Hushed whispers rippled through the crowd. Someone let out a long sigh of relief. So embarrassing. Fortunately, I didn't place a bet. Another person said in disbelief, "This is terrifying." This time, down to the second. Whose vote was this? At the same time, the final suspense was revealed, and the winner's name appeared on the screen. Jiang Sui. My name. Countless gazes turned toward me. Standing under the spotlight, I finally offered a genuine smile. Meanwhile, Yin and Bai Miao looked ashen. They looked at me in disbelief. Jiang Sui? I smiled and nodded gently at them. A bet is a bet. Please remember to transfer the prize money to my bank account. Having said that, I turned around and left the auditorium without a shred of hesitation. 20. Dormitory. Nestled in my warm, cozy bed, I watched the notification that the 5 million had arrived. For the first time since my rebirth, I felt a sense of peace. Outside the window, there was not only the sound of falling snow, but also a faint, lingering scent of roses. I knew that right now, downstairs in the dormitory, Yin was sitting in a convertible filled with Freud roses, waiting desperately for my appearance. I retrieved the number she had just been blocked by me and sent her 2 words, "Too noisy." I retrieved the number she had just blocked me with and sent back 2 words, "Too loud." A few seconds later, the world finally fell silent. At 2 o'clock in the dead of night, the snow fell harder. Unable to sleep, I decided to preview my lessons, but suddenly, a brilliant firework exploded outside the window. Yin stopped shouting and stubbornly, relentlessly, lit firework after firework. I drew the curtains, inserted my earplugs, turned off the lights, and went to sleep. I don't know how long I had slept when I was suddenly woken by violent knocking on the door. I took out my earplugs and immediately heard a chaotic commotion downstairs in the dormitory. A girl has fainted. Call an ambulance. Hurry and call an ambulance. The private ward of the hospital. Bai Miao and I sat by the bedside of the comatose Yin. Glancing at Yin lying unconscious on the bed, Bai Miao suddenly spoke. Jiang Sui, I have thought about this for a long time. Even if I lose my status as the heir to the Bai family, I still want to tell you. I cut her confession off without mercy. You two are truly strange. Looking at the beautiful girl before me, I asked the question that had been bothering me all along. Since you haven't even learned the most basic respect, why are you able to stand before me so righteously, pretending to be deeply in love with me? Bai Miao's face instantly drained of all color. The air grew heavy with silence for a long while. I was about to get up to get a glass of water when my cuff was suddenly tugged. I turned around and saw that although Yin on the bed still had her eyes closed, her eyelids were faintly reddened. She had woken up. She stubbornly clutched my sleeve and whispered, "Don't go, okay?" I pulled her hand away and tucked it back under the covers, saying coldly, "Seeking forgiveness from others by hurting yourself is truly foolish." At that moment, the ward door was pushed open from the outside. The old butler walked in with a well-dressed middle-aged couple, Yan's parents. Yan's father looked at his disheveled daughter on the bed and was almost trembling with rage. "Rebellious daughter, look at this worthless state you're in. Are you trying to scare your mother and me to death?" My mother finally managed to rein in the anxiety on her face. She tenderly stroked the top of Yan's head, then turned to look at me. "You must be Jiang Sui? Would you be willing to have a talk with your auntie?" Seeing me nod, Yin struggled to sit up from the hospital bed. Her eyes were red-rimmed, trembling as she grabbed her mother's hand. "Mom, please help me persuade him, okay? I have never liked a boy this much before. Mom, I'm begging you." 21. VIP lounge of the hospital. My mother elegantly handed me a cup of tea. She said, "Jiang Sui, we and my husband already know everything. The livestream incident was simply too absurd on Xiaoyan's part. Your reputation has been ruined, but the Yin family will take responsibility." As compensation, my mother offered me 2 choices. While sipping her tea, she looked at me gently. Many say that true lovers are only born into wealthy and noble families. Although this statement is somewhat biased, it is not entirely without reason. Xiaoyan has been well protected since childhood. She may be spoiled and willful, but her nature is not bad. Observing my expression, my mother carefully chose her words. The first option is that the Yin family will send you both abroad to study. You need not worry about the expenses. Once you graduate, if you both are willing, you may get married. I must admit, Mother Yin is quite clever. Given Yan's personality, forcibly separating us would only make her more stubborn due to rebellion. Therefore, she wants me to stay by Yan's side and proceed slowly. To that end, she even offered what she believed to be an extremely tempting condition, crossing class boundaries through marriage. I was deeply moved, then quickly asked, "What is the second option?" Mother Yin paused, surprised. "Don't you like Xiaoyan?" Hearing this question, I lowered my eyelids. It was a long while before I softly replied, "Perhaps, but I will never be with someone who has deceived me." Mother Yin fell silent for a moment, then patted my head like a gentle elder. "Jiang Sui, you are very smart. Listen to Auntie's advice, stay by Xiaoyan's side. Even if you leave now, this hunt will not end. Once a youth who does not understand love and hate develops an obsession, they will chase you frantically for the rest of their lives." Her gaze grew deep. "We cannot control our children forever. In a few years, when they have grown their wings and seized full authority, when they catch you back then, are you sure you can bear all the backlash?" I put down the now cold tea in my hand and looked at Mother Yin calmly. "Auntie, you forgot one thing. Years later, when they find me, I won't be the same person I am now. I will become stronger than all of them." In the end, Mother Yin agreed to cover the penalty fee for my transfer and used her connections to secretly send my family and me to a small city in the south. Before I left, she pulled my coat tight for me. "Good child, Auntie promises you, no one will find you before your 20th birthday." When I left the hospital, the snow was still falling. I did not linger over the warmth behind me. Instead, I calmly walked into the dark night where the wind and snow howled. In the vast sky and earth, only the wind blew and the snow moved, settling on my head. I don't know how long I walked, but I only felt the wind and snow gradually lessen. Looking up again, I saw the sunrise in the east, radiating with brilliant light. Yendi, filing number YXXBGYM0Z15 EVMSPBYJTRYJ.